This is
Up
for Grabs, a podcast where three unfiltered friends talk about anything and everything. And now, here are your hosts, Tracy, Kim, and Rachel.
Welcome to Up for Grabs. I'm Rachel. I'm here with my friends Kim.
Hello.
Hello. And Tracy.
Hi.
Hi. Happy New Year. It is our first. Isn't it? You guys look at me like it's not Happy New Year.
It's our first podcast
It's New Year.
of the new year.
New Year to you.
Oh my gosh. It is only like, okay, it has been a week and a half.
But we haven't podcasted.
We haven't.
In 2026.
No, but
So Happy New Year. I take it back.
New Year to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
All right.
glad it's off to a good start for you, Tracy.
Let's go.
Today on Up for Grabs, Tracy had a wonderful idea.
Okay, I'm stopping you all right there. It was not my idea. I didn't suggest it. I told you what I was doing, what I was watching, and you said, "Should we do a podcast?"
That is not the way it went. And
Kim?
when
It is. Yes.
I have text.
well, why wouldn't we want to do a podcast about
I want to, but you act like I brought it to the table
But
like
I think
had
you
something.
did because you just said, I said, why? What are you doing now? And you said, oh, I've just been on Tubi, which, by the way, sounds stupid.
Okay.
Anytime you say anything on Tubi sounds dumb. You'd be like,
There are good shows on there. I don't even care what anybody says.
okay, so you said, I am watching this is the name of
Yeah,
the
it's a mouthful.
documentary, The Wild and Wonderful White Family of West Virginia. It's a documentary on Tubi.
Correct.
And I said, well, that sounds interesting. Is it good? And you said, well,
I saw it originally when it first came out, like 10 years ago.
2009.
More than 10 years ago.
I was surprised when I saw how old it was.
And then I saw it, or heard someone talk about it. I don't know, but I was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch that again. It stuck with me enough that I remembered it by the title, and I thought I want to see that again.
now, if I can ask, we'll get into like the inner workings of this white family from West Virginia.
And their last name is White.
Right.
Correct. Because when you do read the documentary, at first you're like, is this some kind of racial undertone?
Yes.
Like, you know,
no, that their last name is White,
and they
is
are white. And they are white. Yes.
But what was it that, because I obviously just watched it once, not sure I would ever watch it again. What brought you back to it?
I could watch it again this week, and I watched it last week.
Tell me what captivates you about it.
There's so much going on, and I could watch it again and focus on a different person.
I was going to say, there's
always several people. Well, not always, but almost always several people in each frame.
Mm-hmm.
You could focus on a different person each time you watched it. And there's, I think, I know the people as I'm watching it, but then I'm like, wait, who is she sisters to? As I figure it out, I want to watch it again and then look at the interactions again.
That's a good point. The White family, what they did, they started off, the patriarch of the White family was D. Ray White. So they go all the way back to...
And he was married to Bertie Mae.
Bertie Mae. So they were like
The patriarch.
beginning.
Yes, they were the beginnings.
They lived in the Appalachia area. It's Boone County, West Virginia.
West Virginia, right.
And D. Ray, I assume, I don't remember now, but I assume he worked in the coal mine because I think everybody
He did work in the coal mines.
Everybody did. I don't know if
Yes.
that's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of kids. And from there...
Well, he had a talent, too.
Oh, yes, he was a dancer. What did they call that? It wasn't tap dancing, but it was kind of tap dancing.
Well, I assumed it was...
Soft shoe, like...
No. What's it called?
I don't know what the formal name is. I was almost kind of like a jig.
Like a
country jig. I mean,
Clogging. Sorry, it's clogging.
yeah, but tapping.
Tap shoes, but clogging.
Like it's a specific type of it.
Yes. But I knew someone, the girl who lived next door to me at Ball State was a clogger. Mm-hmm. And she was from a rural town in Indiana. Because I was like, I've never heard of clogging in my life. And she's like, it's been around for
forever,
generations. Yeah. And it is like a traditional dance.
Yeah.
So
yes.
she would do it for us when we'd been drinking, and it was funny every time. And then I would do the Irish jig, because you did mention a jig. I was not necessarily good at Irish dancing. I never took any lessons. I just pretend.
You were self-taught.
I pretend that I know what I'm doing when I'm drinking, and I probably look like the Lucky Charms guy, but that's all right.
Oh my God, that's so good. Well, okay, so D. Ray and Bertie were the original couple, and he was, I guess, famous in those particular parts for his entertaining.
I think they were going to do some type of like documentary on him before he was killed.
Now, remind me, who killed?
I think he was robbed. I mean, I don't
remember how he met his demise, but there was a documentary done on one of their sons and his dancing.
Okay.
Jesco?
Jesco.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where this documentary picks up.
Yeah,
so,
they followed this family for a year.
Okay, so D. Ray was already dead. Bertie was still alive.
Yes.
And then the new patriarch of the family was the son Jesco, who was the only white child to inherit his dancing skills.
Yes. And I want to give Bertie Mae a shout out. She was called the Miracle Woman because she took in unwanted children in addition to her own many children. And I think she raised, they said 30 or 40 kids.
She did.
So
if you watch the documentary, she's sadly, the only somewhat sane one.
Yes.
Yeah, so poor Bertie.
It might have been because she was dying. Who knows? But
I don't know, but she seemed like she at least had a little bit together.
So there were several scenes that were, and we'll walk through this as we talk about this documentary. There were scenes that I put scenes that can't be real was a category of things, and I wrote down all the scenes that happened that I was like, you couldn't make this up. It is so unhinged. But the one with Bertie that I felt really bad for her, because she did seem the most with it. I guess after raising 40 children, she was pretty tired.
Yes.
But the kids that she raised were so awful. They were awful.
So can we back up just a little?
I don't think they're awful, but we're gonna disagree on most of this.
Wait a minute.
Well, let's
stuff.
Okay, sorry.
But my point was that the one scene that I was going to say that I thought was unhinged was that poor Bertie was sitting on a couch, like all smushed in their little house, and all of the different grandkids and kids, I couldn't keep track of who was who, but they were all smoking a joint and passing it around, and Bertie was like covering her face and was like saying, "Ooh, don't do that around me." And it was just, you could tell she didn't like it, and they totally disrespected her and did it right in front of her, even though you could tell that she was uncomfortable with it, and it made me mad.
I know, but they were also there with her while she was sick. They weren't going to quit smoking, but they didn't want to leave her alone either. A lot of people die alone, so I'm not ready to knock them down on that yet.
Well, let's back up just a little bit. And this is something that I thought about, and I thought, we're going to be talking about this crazy documentary and going over all these names and all these funny stories and all these, what they didn't focus on a lot, and I wish that they would have more. They talked to like important public figures that were in West Virginia, and they kind of, and I don't know if he was a judge, if he was an attorney, or some kind of political figure, but I want to kind of concentrate on the fact that what these people grow up in.
Yeah.
And a bunch of rich people came into West Virginia, and this goes back hundreds of years, and took all the money out of it. They got rich off the coal, they got rich off this, and they pretty much left these people in this Appalachian area to fend for themselves. No education, no money, and this family was the purest form of what happens when you're kind of forgotten.
Yes.
And you're angry.
The only way of anyone
you're mad
surviving is to leave the area.
Yes.
But many of them, or most of them, don't have a way of leaving, and they don't have the skills necessary to live somewhere else.
Well, one thing that they did say that I didn't have a ton of empathy along the way.
No, it's hard to have empathy.
Every once in a while it would pop up. I'm like, okay, my human heart is still here. But when they were talking about D. Ray and the original guy,
the father, yes,
the man, when he saw the coal mine, like the executives and the politicians getting rich off the labor of what they were doing, and he saw that they were left making hardly anything
They were given coupons to use
for food,
and they could only shop at a specific store.
At the stores,
and it was like 30 cents on it was like,
yeah,
the value of $1 was like
But D. Ray, and this is, I was like, okay, respect. He was mad, as he should be, but he also was smart enough to work the system. The guys that you were talking about, the politicians that
Yes.
they interviewed for this documentary, were like, he worked the Social Security system to the fullest. He signed every
All his
single one of
kids.
his kids up for disability. Just said that they were mentally...
and they still get checks to this day.
all of them.
Yes.
And all of their kids.
And their offspring.
And at first I was like, oh my God, no way. And then I thought, good for him. If I was put in that position, trying just to feed my family, and everyone else, the rich got richer and I was left sitting there.
Right.
I thought, good for him for learning how to work the system.
Exactly. And you'll even hear people today, and I know they're also modern society, but in general society, make comments about people living high on the hog off the government.
You're not living
Nobody
high
on
off
the
hog.
government is living high off the hog. They're not dying of hunger, but they're not sitting around.
Yeah, just
eating a
watch
bunch
the
of
documentary,
steaks
you'll
and whatever.
understand.
You know what I mean? Like it's that just isn't what it is. So they were getting by due to the government funding.
Yes.
And then when they showed Jesco, when they showed the now very, he looked like he was in his 60s, right, Jesco?
Yeah.
The new dancer,
Yeah.
the young dancer. When they showed him, then you knew about the Social Security part, and then I thought, well, I wonder how, because they, like you said, they lived pretty much in squalor, but they had they had a roof over their head,
They had enough
cars,
for their pills and their alcohol.
Yeah, they it just appeared like they made their quote unquote living. They got a little bit from Social Security. They stole some things. Appeared to be good at fraud. Mm-hmm. Fraud was a good thing for them.
They were outlaws, the whole family.
And that's what they pride themselves in.
Yes.
Is that they were outlaws. Like, nobody messes with us.
But my question is, why weren't any of them? Well, some of them were in jail. They did visit several different of the younger, like the grandkid.
Yes.
In jail.
The one who shot his uncle.
His uncle still has love for him.
He does. And that's family. So
and we'll do the updates at the end, but
I don't know how the uncle.
A lot of them had died. A lot of the siblings,
Yes.
the original siblings, had died. Been sad, either murdered.
Yeah.
A gun shot gone wrong, like suicide. I don't know. Some crazy stories when they visited the gravesite and he was showing all of
sad.
them.
Yeah. No, the uncle that got shot he looked fantastic, by the way.
Considering he was shot twice in the face.
and where?
And once in the shoulder.
Yeah.
He was shot 3 times and he looked.
No worse for the wear.
No.
Yeah. I was like, okay. It must have been a small caliber.
It
Listen
couldn't
to
have been.
Good Lord.
So let's just go, let's start with just some of the offspring and the crazy.
Yes. Why don't we just kind of maybe, because like I said, I have a whole category that just
start
says
with
scenes
something
that
we
can't be real.
Then we can talk about the scenes.
Yes. So why don't you do you have a scene that jumped out at you, Tracy?
No, they were all very real to me. And I am going to expand on that after we're done. So you guys talk about those.
Well, then let's just dive in. The one that I was like, are you kidding me?
I hope that we have the same thought on this.
There was one person, and I think her name was Kurt.
Kirk is her nickname, the one that had the baby.
Yes. So she had a baby, and the day after she had a baby, she was snorting something in the hospital, and then acted surprised that the hospital would not release the baby to her. And so she was very upset. And so the documentary crew is in the car. She's with her sister, ? I don't know who the other lady, her sister. Okay, her sister was driving her home.
The ex-stripper.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm the best looking.
And the documentary had them going through the Taco Bell drive-thru.
Oh my God. This was a scene.
And he's
this was a scene.
So here's this person just bereft. Like, she's like, I can't believe they took my baby. All this stuff. Like, she was like beside herself, right? CPS has her baby. She just gave birth. They decided
They haven't even been home yet.
No. So what do?
You go through Taco Bell.
And the guy it wasn't a guy, it was a girl. And she was like, the sister was like, can I have the quesadilla or the fajita? He's like, we don't have fajitas. She's like, well, it says so on, like, she had never been to Taco Bell. She asked for mozzarella sticks. And then,
It had been a while.
wait a minute, this is not my favorite part. But then so then they were driving up. They agreed on something that Taco Bell had. I don't know what it was, but they looked in the window of the restaurant and they saw people they knew, and they honked the horn and waved. And the person looked at him and she was like, "She just had to give her baby away.
She just lost her baby
To CPS.
And
She
the
took
people-
her baby. Took her baby.
The people didn't know what they were saying, so they were smiling.
So they're talking through glass. There is obviously a miscommunication. She must have said 5 times, CPS took her baby.
And they kept smiling and waving.
Oh my God.
I mean, they were high as a kite. Let's put that in there too. They were both so messed up.
Oh my God.
I'll get the quesadilla. And she was like, and the fajita. We don't have fajitas. Yes, you do.
All I know is that if I were the person that was running the camera, I don't know how that person can laugh. It was so funny. It was the most awful thing I've ever seen.
Well, do you know who produced it?
Oh, Johnny Knoxville was
Johnny
in there.
Knoxville.
So I noticed that. I'm like, this makes perfect sense. Why this was the train wreck that it was. Yep. Because let's back up a little bit, just a couple. So they show this scene where this Kirk gives birth to a baby. Baby's fresh. And she's got her friend in there. And the baby, they put the baby in the bassinet, and Kirk says, okay, let's get into our pills. She takes her pain medicine and in the hospital room and crushes them up and puts them in lines, and her friend are snorting the pain pills.
Yes.
And then the next scene is they're leaving the hospital because the baby needs to be like in the NICU for a day, and then they find out that they're not giving her the baby, and she was in utter shock.
She couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Until her mom reminded her it happened to her.
That's so sad.
And that's that's when you realize it's a cycle.
Absolutely.
So sad.
Is
The fact that she didn't know ahead of time that they were going to take that baby. How do you not know?
She did know.
She didn't.
Yes, she did. She
I
was
don't
just
think she
she was
don't
lying
know.
to herself. She knew she
I
had
don't
taken
think
the
she
drugs.
probably was
She
with
knew
it.
she had taken him. I think she thought she was going to go home with her baby. I believe that.
Well, I don't think
Truly,
was
I'm
real.
surprised they didn't just send the baby home with her. Just the environment of that whole town. I'm surprised that they kept the baby, but yeah, that was a scene.
Well, one thing that did cross my mind, and thank God it did not go here, but they were touted as this outlaw family that everybody was like, oh boy, they're trouble. I wondered if the people at CPS were afraid that they would be retaliated on for holding their baby.
Probably.
I would have given them I'm like, yeah. They seemed like, well, that's just one thing. They were talking about, I felt like the whole kind of the theme of the documentary was just the hopelessness.
Yes.
They were talking to poor Jesco, and he was like, and for a second there, he would make really good sense. Like he sounded like a prophet, and then all of a sudden he would continue talking. And you're like, this man is crazy. I think
that's how cults happen, where someone sounds like a prophet, where they're just crazy enough to say something that makes sense.
Well, I thought he would be a great cult leader because I was
really
like,
would.
Because he was very charismatic.
He was.
And when he was on, he was on.
Yes.
Yes.
But basically he was saying, we have it. The overriding thought was this situation that we're in is hopeless, and we all know it. He's like, we're already dead.
They weren't afraid of death.
No,
they weren't. That's why they pretty much just drank and themselves silly. That there was no what's the worst that can happen? We die. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's where they were at.
And then it would flash to a scene with Hank Williams Jr. or the third,
which I had to look up to make sure it was
singing
for real.
Hilarious songs. They were so good.
Punch.
Kick. I'm not going to say the other word, but it starts with an F, yes. And then there would be someone dancing on the table.
Oh, it was Jesco.
Jesco, yeah, doing his little dance on the table, acting out the song. Delightful. I could have watched, again, that's why I want to watch it another time. I want to see that scene again.
I want to talk about my scene stealer.
Okay, let's hear it. This ought to be good.
So they're in the house as they usually are, and they are partying. They are getting their party on, and drugs, and passing their what they call them, their dope and their marijuana. And out of nowhere, somebody comes out of the door, completely naked.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Completely. It was reminiscent of Jason Segel in that movie that we saw.
God.
And he is. I won't be graphic, but he is flinging his ding dong.
He is
all around.
And he was
everyone's
scrawny old man.
I was like, who is this guy? And
no
they're
one
showing
seemed
all
alarmed.
that, but
I
then he
forgot
turns
about
over
that.
and bends over, and they're like, and then they blur that out. I'm like, you can show like full frontal, but you don't want to show his butt crack. But anyways,
I appreciated
that.
it.
Was insane. I was just at that point in the documentary, I was like, what is this?
Well,
Like, what?
And to put a finer point on that, there were little kids running around everywhere.
That was yeah.
I think that part bothered me the most. That Kirk's girl
son.
had a son that looked to be about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
He has no chance. Like, he was saying awful things. Like, he's just repeating what he hears, but he's using the F word.
Like
and
his
he's
dad, who's no longer around, is a piece of shit.
and he was going to cut off his whatever with
Yeah.
a knife. And I was like, okay, you're like 9 years old. This is.
That he knew what
But he
rehab
thought he was sticking up for his mom. You know, like he doesn't
I get
know
it.
any better.
And he didn't. But that's why it makes me mad.
Yeah.
He should have, she should have known better. And that means that her mom should have known. It's just,
Yeah.
it makes me mad. Because, like you said, I feel like they did love their kids
Absolutely.
and their family, but they just didn't know how to do it properly because they were never shown
I
it.
truly don't believe they had the brain capacity to do it properly.
Well, not after all those drugs.
I just think that they just got by.
Yeah. What about the guy in his 20s who did the Boone County mating call?
When
Do
he
you remember when
rattled
he did
the
that?
he
And
rattled the
his
pill.
bottle. That was hilarious.
That was so funny.
That is very funny.
Well,
I
we
mean,
need to talk about him because he's one of the people that he was in a scene that I could not believe, or two of them.
Okay.
That kid did not have a brain in his head. Didn't.
No.
No. Like scary. Like, how old do you think
Well, I mean,
he was?
he's
Like
probably
early
been doing
20s?
drugs since he was 8.
Right. So
So-
early 20s?
Yeah, early 20s.
So there's a scene where he's in the house with his mom and somebody else, but like a littler kid, and he opens up his rifle and starts flinging it around.
They're like, watch the ceiling fan.
And like pointing it, and he's like, "Well, it's not like it's loaded." Like, as if he would even know. He's like loaded out of his mind, and he's playing like the fun gunplay in front of the kids. I was like, "Oh my God!" But then the scene, I think this was one of the worst ones, when he was giving someone a tattoo in their kitchen table, at their kitchen table.
Miranda, I believe it was her
And-
name.
and the
the baby's name that she was tattooing. The baby's name that was taken.
That was the problem. She was trying to get a tattoo of a word, and he didn't know how to spell, and he was tattooing it, and he kept asking every time. He's like, "Is that A?" She's like, "E." Like every time.
It was like M-A-R, no, M-E-R. Miranda, whatever.
Yeah.
M-E-R. And he go M-A. She's like, no. And then it looked like he had 4 letters done. And she was like M-A. She's like E. He goes, okay. I was like, that does
And then
not
he
say
goes,
it.
my hands are shaking from the Xanax. I'm like, and you have a tattoo gun in your hand. Actually, the tattoo didn't look bad.
No.
Like he did like it. I'm just saying.
Yes. And I have fudged report cards before, and it's pretty easy to turn an F into an A.
Yeah.
Therefore, you could turn an E into an A.
It did not look that bad.
But just like he was operating that under whatever drugs he was on. Plus, isn't there like some sort of sanitation rule when you
I
do?
don't think that-
Well,
that
he
goes
asked
out the
his mom
window.
over across the kitchen to bring him the rubbing alcohol.
I mean, they did have rubbing alcohol, but I think sanitation isn't a
That
thing.
is the sanitation. She had to find it.
I was like, who gave this guy a tattoo kit for Christmas? Like, it just seems like
I
such a
know.
bad idea.
I know it.
Were there any other scenes that? We have to talk about this. What about the girl that had been serving time in the correctional facility?
I was hoping you were
know her
talking
name?
about that one.
And I don't even know
it
who.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She's in the family,
jail girl.
but
Let's
she
call
was
her jail girl.
in, and during the filming of the documentary, she had served her time, and they went to pick her up. Oh my! She was the roughest. And
I
then
loved her.
I knew you would.
You know that, yeah.
Because she was looking for her husband.
Yes.
And the whole thing about looking for her husband, driving around in their minivan, looking for him.
And he was currently living with his girlfriend.
Well, yeah.
She'd been in for several years, and he was living with this woman. And she called the woman to ask if he was there because he wasn't answering his phone. Go ahead, sorry.
No, but then they find him.
They go over to the house.
Well, I was just, I didn't know what to think. They're like, I don't know if they kidnapped him. I don't know what they did, but basically they lured him into the car. They forced him into the minivan, and she crawled in and like forced her way to sit next to him. He wanted nothing to do with her, but you could tell he was afraid of her because her family is crazy. And she forced him.
I think he liked her a little bit. I don't know.
Well, he probably did.
She's
but
actually assaulted him, basically.
basically she did.
But, okay, are you going to get to what happened
No,
with
go
him
ahead.
at the end?
Tell me.
So, you know, he's like, I'm not staying all night. I'm going back home later. And she's like, you're staying. He's like, no, I'm not. And then here comes the beers. He stayed and he never went back to the girlfriend. He stayed living there. Although it did say at the end, like when they give the recap of what's happening, although he does meet up with the girlfriend occasionally.
Yeah,
for
he still
sex.
does sleep with the
he
girlfriend.
He never moved back there, though. He stayed
They
with
got
her.
married in the drugstore.
Okay, that's my other thing. When they're like, well, you know, let's go back to where we got married, and the car pulls up to the pharmacy, and she's like, yeah, we went here and this is where we get our Xanax, and we went out and we crushed a bunch of them and did them, and then we like, why don't we get married? So the florist at the pharmacy happened to have her license. I don't know what's going on. They went back.
Yeah, I got married.
Yeah, and they had flowers all around. It was very pretty in the floral.
Would you
In
stop?
the floral department.
It was very pretty.
I'm just saying.
Get her done.
That's right.
That's what was the friend was telling her.
The other thing that I definitely want to do is when one of us has to go to rehab, which it's going to happen. I don't know which one of us it's going to be.
Well,
But when I go to rehab, if you two don't give me a rehab party at a bowling alley, I'm going to be
Jesus.
mad.
absolutely. I will do that. 'Cause
Ooh, I signed this bottle.
There was a lot of twerking at the alley and the dive bar. There was, there was,
And when they walked into the dive bar, what happened?
everybody's like, hey.
Everybody clapped, applauded because they're famous in their town. They were so happy to have them there. They went up and sang, not well,
Didn't matter.
unless you're listening, and then you did a great job.
And then they went and crushed their pills on the back of a toilet seat
And
snorted it off of it
In a very gross bathroom.
in a bathroom.
but wait a minute.
I mean, not the back of the
Right,
toilet.
but you're missing the best part. As they were filming that part of them in this disgusting, as I said, where's the rubbing
Disgusting.
alcohol?
Yeah.
She was quoting scripture.
Yes, she was.
She was quoting Matthew while they were in the bathroom at the dive bar snorting stuff off the back of the toilet.
But what do you see from that? There is goodness there. Like she's trying and it comes
They
up,
just-
but
they
they
don't-
are addicted. Addiction, like
No,
they
it was
lose.
very
They
sad.
lose when you're addicted.
So wait a minute. So the one girl, Kirk, did go to rehab. That was part of the show.
Yeah.
And I thought, good for, because she was the one that wanted to have her baby back because CPS still had her baby. And they said, if you are clean, you know, and can prove it, you can have some visitation with your daughter. And I didn't think it was enough for her to really go to rehab. I didn't think she would go.
Right.
But she did, and she went for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But
And
then
then-
I'm like, how do you
escape it?
How do you
won't stay
maintain?
clean. She won't
No.
stay clean
No.
in that environment. She could leave. Like they had the one cousin that they did an interview with. He got out of there and went
Pawnee.
to Minnesota, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
he knew that the only way to survive was to leave. Like he can't go back. He can't live there.
My question is, they did interview him, and it was, I guess, his kids.
Yeah, like his kids.
Was that making it?
I mean, they were in school.
Yes.
His kids were in school. That was a big win.
Yeah.
One of the boys had braces. I'm like, oh, he's doing
I mean, seriously.
orthodontia.
I mean, yeah.
He made it.
Everybody in every socioeconomic class, everyone has something that's above them. You know, like I mean, like there's other people that are doing something above you. Like there are times I get down that I'm renting a house or my car has 200,000 miles or whatever, and then I see somebody riding their bike to work in the rain, and I thank God for my van.
Yeah.
You know, and you forget sometimes though that it's what level you're at.
I know it.
That it shifts, and you forget what you have sometimes.
Yeah.
But they interviewed that man, which, by the way, I thought maybe, I didn't know how long he had been in Minnesota, but he still sounded like he was from West Virginia. I was hoping that maybe the West Virginia accent would kind of go away and he'd be more Minnesota. But
No.
he very clearly was from West Virginia, and he was wearing his weed hat, which I thought, okay, if that's all you're doing, then maybe
you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're.
And he's probably smoking weed. Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, he was like a painter or something. Yeah. But he had a job and kids that didn't seem to hate him.
Yes.
And his kids were in school. And
yeah, but I thought it was interesting that they were kind of making fun of the relatives in West Virginia. I'm like, dude, they'll come and kill you. I just, you might back off on the making fun of the. Don't get too uppity there, because they could come and find you.
But they probably won't, because they don't leave the holler.
No,
and that made me sad. The last part that I thought was interesting was when I was talking about how Jessica kind of sounded like a cult leader, because I found myself like getting into what he was talking about, and it made sense to me. And I'm like, this man might not be as dumb as I think he is. But then they said that he basically has brain damage because what was
gasoline.
He like? Gasoline. He was sniffing
gasoline.
Huffing gasoline to the point that it like demolished one side of his brain.
Yes, like physically. It's not,
crumbled.
when people say like, oh, they have brain damage.
Like
or
it's a
whatever.
hole in his brain.
Yes. There is like showing up on an MRI damage to his brain from that.
And I still couldn't believe he could be coherent. I mean, for having that kind of brain damage.
I thought the same thing.
Me too.
You want to talk about his tattoo?
Yeah, because here's the bad news for me. When I first was watching, I thought, so they were showing him getting a tattoo on his back.
Right.
And he's like, well, it's done. And I saw Elvis. He chose the older Elvis, which I thought was an interesting choice.
That may just have been the work of the tattoo artist.
It wasn't the kid from the kitchen.
Correct.
He went to
This was a real tattoo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On his left side of his back was Elvis.
So he said, sometimes I'm Elvis.
And sometimes I thought the other picture was supposed to be Jesus.
Me too. Me too.
And then I'm like, oh, so sometimes he's Elvis and sometimes he's Jesus. He's like, sometimes I'm Elvis and sometimes I'm
Marilyn.
No.
I was going to say Marilyn Manson. Almost the same. Charles Manson. Charles Manson.
And I'm like, oh no, that wasn't Jesus.
It went down a dark road.
Wasn't that scary?
I thought it was
I think
Jesus.
Charles Manson is so scary.
That tattoo was so detailed.
I know. So I thought,
and then
that just kind of shows how his mind worked.
Like maybe he's schizophrenic, or maybe he's so.
But how in tune with himself that he came up with that. You know what I mean?
He knows he's
that
crazy.
He knows that, and he knows if you push me, I might go this way. I mean, like
I know.
They're like, yeah, when he's
very self-aware.
Yeah, he was super self-aware for being scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he have something on the outside of his door, like when he was one of his deep places, like just do not come in here?
Yes.
Like leave me alone. Like he knew when he could be a threat to other people. I don't know. It was, I think, let's just say he escaped that. And I think that he, out of all that group, had the most smarts about him.
Self-awareness. Yeah. He said, he's like, I don't need to go to prison. I feel like I'm already in prison.
Sad. Yes.
Because I know, it was like he had to know when to keep himself in check. And I'm like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah.
And the hopelessness of it all, which really, the point of all of this that I got was that, are we really any more than what we're born into? That was the question I was left with. I'm like, if I was born in to that situation, could I pull myself out of it, or would I be just the way they are? And I'm like, I'm sure I would be just the way they are.
It's nearly impossible to escape it. I mean,
I've got something to say on that topic.
Please do.
I will get there as I'm talking about this other. So in talking about it, I want to bring up two other documentary or movies based on truth. I don't think they were documentaries. Movies based on truth, like with actors. One was a Hulu production, Dope Sick. If you saw that
I've never
movie.
seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
The other was a Netflix, and it's called Painkiller.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
They are both about OxyContin by Purdue Pharmaceuticals. And in the 90s, they developed this OxyContin. They needed to see if it was as good as they thought it was. They took it. It was a painkiller. Mm-hmm. Who has a lot of pain? People that work in the coal mines. So they gave it to these people
To see if it worked.
And these people were like, oh my gosh. And their doctors are saying, this is a miracle. I mean, they literally were doing backbreaking work. And so they had this pill that was like magic. And it was coming from a doctor, so it wasn't bad. So they were all taking it. But then they needed to up the dosage. And this is the time when all the pharmaceutical reps really were making the money in the 90s. And they were going on cruises, and they were paying off these doctors to prescribe it. And if you prescribed higher, you got more of a kickback. You know, if you sell 3,000 pills, then you get $6,000 or whatever it is.
Right.
So as they're doing this, the doctors are like, well, you know, these people are feeling better. Why don't I? You know, I can get a little in the process. Well, after a while of a lot of money and a lot of people becoming addicted to this medication, the FDA gets involved and says, wait a second, let's see the testing that was done or whatever, you know. And all of a sudden, these pills are not available to these people, but they're all addicted.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? They're going to turn to street drugs to keep their addiction going. So that's when they're doing fentanyl and heroin and I'm going to say I'm drug ignorant. I don't really know what meth is, but maybe it's a combination of the two of those. But they're doing meth. You know, like they're doing all the drugs to keep going from what the rich people started. So they didn't go out seeking these necessarily on their own. So this is how this whole community, and so they make money by being drug dealers because you have a complete communities that are addicted to these drugs.
There have to be dirty pharmacists and dirty doctors in those communities too, because they have access to all of Xanax and Oxycontin, Roxy's, or whatever they were. I mean, they were going to the pharmacy and the mom was saying, I get these pills at $3 a pill, and then I sell them for $8 a pill, and that's called whatever, you know, that's called capitalism or whatever she said. It was she knew that she was making money off the drugs. Yeah. Because again, she had a captive audience. They wanted what she was selling. So that was part of it. I just find that fascinating, the whole thing of how it came about. And then obviously, like everything else, it spreads across the other places in the United States. And, I had a friend in Maryland whose son got a pain pill from a surgery. And this is how a lot of more of the affluent people, they had surgeries, they got injured in a sport, they had a surgery, they got pain pills. All of a sudden they're addicted, and then they won't get any more pain pills. So they're out doing the street drugs. This mama, she did everything. And her son is alive and doing well right now by the grace of God, because she sent him to these rehabs that were $30,000 at a time. Oh my God. And he'd get out and he'd be back on the street buying it. And it was heartbreaking to watch it happen. And she's really worked to destigmatize the people that are doing that, because she's like, it doesn't matter. It does not.
We need to get them help. Whatever it is, we need to get them help. So anyway, I wanted to give her a little shout out.
Do any of those documentaries or shows that you were talking about, do they talk about any research going on to help people that have addiction, like turn that part of their brain off? Because I feel like that with like depression medication, I know that it changes your brain chemistry. So so I feel like addiction should be something that can be either at least alleviated or helped, if not totally taken out.
Well, I think part of it is it's a moneymaker. So even if they have it, they may not be getting it.
You replace one thing for another, because ketamine is supposed to help those cravings. But then
you get hooked on ketamine.
You get hooked on ketamine. So there's all kinds of...
some people are saying ketamine. Some people are saying the GLP-1s have that
help turn it off a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I believe that.
You know, if it turns off your
hunger, why wouldn't it?
Then it could, you know, something else could happen.
Right.
But I
just didn't know if they got into that.
I think
they make way too much money from it.
They make too much money to...
Well, that's horrible.
Make it... it is horrible.
It's so cynical.
Yeah.
Why don't we want to help people?
Well, we do, but we don't have the authority or the power to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And the people that are making all the money don't want to.
Yeah.
Because then
But there's just plenty for everyone.
Well run dry.
I just don't understand.
I was going to mention, and I'm not going to mention names or anything, but I have family in Eastern Ohio, right on the West Virginia line. And they were very affluent. Like,
Utah.
yeah, a lot of money. Now, I'm not talking like middle class here.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
They were high on the hog.
an exorbitant amount of money. And at least 3 of the 4 children have been addicted to drugs at one time or another. 2 of them are in and out of jail regularly, like 20 times regularly, not once or twice. Been through treatment programs again and again, and then they go back, and it's horrible, horrible what they, what they look like from the drugs, what they have done to their bodies. And I say that because they had everything. And when you said, does it depend on what you're born into? Now, I think they probably were in that area at that time in the 90s. They had enough money to buy drugs, even if it was buying someone else's prescription,
Yeah.
And then what do? Look at how many kids with money get addicted to drugs because they have the money. They have it. They have what it takes to get it. So on one hand, yes, what you're born into matters. On another, it could happen to anybody. And I just kind of wanted to put that part out there. That it doesn't matter what you come from sometimes. It's just...
Well, I guess when I was saying that, I wasn't necessarily even thinking about the drugs. I was just thinking about being born into a family that is uneducated, and I mean, it had nothing to do maybe with the drugs, but like if I was born into a family that they didn't value education, and they didn't, and maybe they didn't because they were on drugs, but even if the drugs weren't part of it, could I overcome that upbringing of someone that just didn't value
just the cycle
education?
repeating itself all the time.
I mean, take the drugs out, like the drugs make it like impossible.
Right.
But I'm even saying without the drugs, I don't think I could get out of that circle of, it's just a cycle of hopelessness.
It's poverty.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to add that, you guys tease and we laugh about me being a West Sider, which I take great pride in.
You should.
But there are people on the West Side that look similar to those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They talk similarly to those people. They're good people. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's so far removed from us. It's not like it's a different planet. I actually, a month ago, asked my brother, and it was because of recipes that were popping up on my Facebook. And they were saying that these were Appalachian recipes. They were shit we used to eat. So I was like,
Are we
do we have anybody, do we have any Appalachian? Because I don't understand how we ate these. It doesn't make sense. And my brother was the one that did all the family, whatever. And he said, yes. He said, my grandmother did have family from that area. And then he, replied something, y'all, whatever. I don't know. But
we're not far removed from it at all.
We're not far removed.
No.
So you can watch it and enjoy the show and know that I found it entertaining. I found that I was interested in their lives. I thought they were fascinating. I hoped for the best for them, even though I knew the best wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
For the bulk of them. I'm not going to say never because I don't want to, you shouldn't give up on anybody.
Yeah.
No.
But man, they didn't have a lot going for them.
No, they did not.
And so anyway, I will probably watch it again after talking about
Well,
it.
I told you guys, I when I was finished watching, I just said, I've never felt more beautiful, and I've never felt more smart. For real. Like, I watched that thing and I'm like, are these people real? Yes, they are. They're very real.
Did you mean smarter?
No.
I felt more smart.
I'm just super smart.
Well, so we can say they followed him for a year. And
Was it a whole year?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning it said we followed this family for a year. So Birdie did end up dying,
Yes.
the matriarch. She had a stroke.
The miracle woman.
The miracle
Yes,
woman.
she was
She
a miracle.
died. One of the grandsons was put away. The one that tried to kill his uncle. Is that what
Yes.
it was? I did read an update that, this was in 2009. He's out of jail. So
they didn't they give him like a 40-year sentence?
They gave him a 50-year sentence.
Okay.
He's out of jail.
Yeah, because they said he was available for parole in 25.
Kirk did end up giving her daughter up for adoption. So
Probably never even got her home.
Yeah, probably never got her home. And it said, she obviously did go to rehab, but my guess is that probably, I mean, so she just felt like she wanted to give her daughter a better life, which
sad.
hopefully
Good for
her
her.
daughter got a better life. And then, you know, that one of the other ones, Bo's son, I don't even know who it was. He got put in jail for stomping on a kitten, is what it
I
said.
think that was. I think Bo's son was the one that was doing the tattooing,
Yeah, that's probably who it
and
was.
I told you he gave me the
That made me
creepies.
sad. Was
Yeah.
that the guy who was swinging the
Yeah,
gun?
swinging the
Yes,
gun around.
probably him.
I'm not totally
So
surprised.
that
but
was
that's
really
horrible.
the only that I could find online. That was the only update. I guess that the documentary did bring a lot of like publicity to them, and that probably did more good than bad.
Yeah.
But they probably got paid. I mean, obviously they got paid for doing that.
They got
so, you know, oof, yeah.
Ooh, it was heavy watching. Thanks so much, Tracy.
You're welcome. I swear I found it entertaining. It didn't cross my mind that you would find it to be heavy. And I don't know what to say about that.
I thought it was a healthy dose of heavy and entertaining. I mean, both. I think some of it I was like, I don't know if I can keep watching this, and then I just got sucked
Well,
in.
the Taco Bell scene did get me.
Yes, that was good.
That was worth the price of admission.
was probably the best scene of the whole show.
That really was. Because you're like, she's not going to yell it
Please
again.
say enough.
And she yelled it again. And the lady inside just nodding, yes.
Oh my god! It was. Oh, you can't script it. That's
No,
why.
no.
That's why it was perfect the way it was.
Yep.
Well, we highly recommend Tubi here on the show. What was it called again? The Wild and Wonderful. I don't know how
Wild and
wonderful, but
Wonderful.
wild. The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. Check it out.
For free on Tubi.
Yeah, it's free. It's free.
Tubi's a free app. And you get a lot of
And if you
movies
have
and
Roku, I
shows.
think that when I searched it, it came up on the Roku channel too. So if you have a Roku TV, you get like the Roku channel. It's free too.
It's
Same
free,
thing.
you guys. So just if you have an hour and a half,
It's worth a watch.
And then weigh in. Let us know
Yeah,
what you
I
think.
who's your favorite white family member? Let us know. Thank you for joining us today on Up for Grabs, and we will see you next time.